Dust off your jerseys, grab your upkeep caps. Got the whole team ready, no turning back. From the hardwood floors to the diamond bright, we're here to talk sports all day and night. Yeah, it's a sports show, from the opening tip to the final, we're with you.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Catching Up with Cody podcast. I'm your host, as always, Cody. We have another live sports talk. We're joined here with Tim by the Sports Reel podcast. Tim, how have you been? I know you got a big party coming up, so don't do it.
No, I'm just messing with you. Actually, I did have my microphone muted there for a minute because I was trying to see if Facebook was going to be working, which I don't think it's working right now, Cody. But that's okay. You got a lot of time to figure that shit out. But no, man, I've been good. I've been busy. I know, like, this whole weekend, I want to apologize to you personally because you kept on trying to get me to, like, help you do that thing, and I was, like, running 100 miles an hour all over the place. So, like, I fit you in a little bit on Saturday, and then on Sunday it sounded like I had a second, but then you were busy doing something else. It was all messed up. But yeah, I've been getting ready for this party coming up. We have the big America's 250 coming up here at the house for July 4th. So I'm excited about that. I know you're coming out to it, so it's going to be a blast. I'll probably set my yard on fire again, so I am excited about that. Like, I got the hose ready. Lots of water. Lots of water.
Let's hope not.
It could be interesting.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of sports to talk about tonight. Obviously, with the breaking news of Terrion Arnold and Malik Beasley, looks like all the Detroit players are just trying to see if they can hang out in one cell. So let's start with the Terrion Arnold stuff. Looks like he did get released on bond, but not only that, he got released by the Detroit Lions. Did you see this coming, or did you kind of think there was supposed to be some more information coming out before they did release him?
Well, no, like I 100% saw them actually releasing him. Like, I knew that news was coming. I had that feeling. And sometimes it's more just them trying to protect their asses than it is anything, you know what I mean? And maybe free up a little cap space in that process, so maybe they can go out and sign somebody to try to fill that spot, because at this point you really don't know what's going to happen with Terrion. Now, I know he got out on bond, and we didn't know if he was going to get to that point because of the charges. You know, these are, first-degree felony charges in the state of Florida, and the prosecutor was trying to stop any ability for him to get bond, and the judge kind of, shut that down and said, no, he's getting bond because, yeah, there's some weird stuff in this case. I was kind of watching some stuff over earlier, and it kind of sounds like testimony has changed a few times on part of the people who are accusing him. So, like, we don't know which direction this is going to go. When there's smoke, there's fire. So I have a feeling there's always a little bit of truth to everything that's being said. Now, was he as involved as what they're saying? With him being there and everything else that they're saying that, he was in the car and all this other stuff. I don't know. It's hard to say, and I don't want to speculate, you know what I mean? But there was enough smoke with, changing testimonies and stuff like that. He was, able to actually get, out on bail. But as for the Lions aspect of it, this is something that we've been watching since, I think it was February or March when this news first came out that he was caught up in this type of thing. And then we haven't heard anything about it since, till he just recently got, arrested or turned himself in, so to speak. But, we've been keeping our eye on it because we didn't know which direction this was going to go. And it's taken them a while to build a case, to be honest. And it's kind of funny that it happens right before, they have to report to training camp that they decide to, try to press charges, and go after him, which is, odd timing. They must have felt a little rush to try to get that done before he fled state to come up to Michigan. But, I saw it coming. The Lions have to protect their own asses, Cody. Like, they have to do that. And now I'm looking at the numbers, and apparently he's going to free up about $4 million in cap space. So What can they do with that? I'm not really sure. That's not a lot, you know what I mean? And there's not a lot this late, going into training camp here soon for a lot of these teams. Not a lot of talent left out there that you can sign. So I'm kind of a little worried.
Yeah, no, I don't know who I was listening to, but they were saying like I don't know, they had to have known about this all happening. So why not look in the future of like, hey, maybe we need to get another corner just in case, either he does go away or we have to release him. I feel like there should have been some pre-planning here on the Lions' part. I know there was a couple interviews and stuff, and they're like, "We're gonna be okay. Everything will get figured out." But it seems like it's been a super quiet off season, and now with this happening, like the dominoes are falling, but not in the good direction.
No, I mean 100%. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the news of this actually came out possibly before the draft. If I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, about these charges might come. You know what I mean? That the speculation that he might have been involved in this came out before the draft. So like when you're moving into draft night, like and you got arguably, I mean, it's their quarterback number 2 in all reality, you know what I mean? We don't know what he was gonna be. He hasn't really been super healthy, and he's been young throughout the process of his 2 years in the NFL so far, so who knows what he would have turned into, but they were pretty high up on him still, but at the same time, like, with this coming out before the draft, you think they would, changed direction a little bit to kinda toughen up that secondary a little bit because that's been the one thing that's been a killer for the Lions over the last 3-4 years has been that secondary. They haven't been able to really stop the long ball. And, now with Terrion out, I mean, what do we have left? You got Reed, Rakestraw, and Rocky Sin. That's your cornerbacks. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there's, I think they drafted somebody late, I think 5th or 6th round this year. That's a cornerback or a DB, you know what I mean? But you don't have a lot of depth there. Now you're putting you're putting the hat on those guys and going, you guys need to work all season long when that's been one of those positions that's been beaten up quite a bit over the last few seasons. So you're looking at 1 injury, 2 injuries, and the whole damn thing just unravels right now. And I still don't feel good about the talent that's even out there right now. You know what I mean? They were getting beat last year. So why?
Yeah, that's the thing is injuries, are haunting us in years prior. So like you were saying, if we're already down people, there's not much wiggle room there at all.
No, and they didn't do anything to address it in the offseason. No big signings, not really much done in that, the secondary for, the draft. They did not address one of the worst parts of our defense over the last 3 years in this draft. Now, I was excited in some of the other places that they picked up players, you know what I mean? They addressed our offense once again, but now everything comes back to the offense. The offense has to play at 110% to win games now. Like they
Yes.
can't have an off day because that secondary or that defensive line, which with, they toughen that up a little bit with the draft. And I feel pretty good there. They're just having to get off and just get on the quarterback like right now to be able to make this thing even successful this year. Like it this is a move that really hurt the team, and it also hurt the team the fact that they did nothing to prepare for this. There was no big free agency signing, there was no big draft pick in this position, and that's something that they needed to do regardless of him being here or not, because even with him here, that was a very soft part of that defense, and they did not do anything to fix that because that's where they were getting beat last year, Cody.
Yeah.
Like they weren't getting beat a whole lot on the run. They were getting beat in that secondary. And the biggest part of this whole thing, we're looking at just the quarterbacks right now. Those cornerbacks don't even have any backup right now because we don't even know if Kirby's going to play. I really hope that he does. And Branch is not going to be available till they're saying possibly after Thanksgiving. So you don't even have those safeties to back up those corners that we already have. So where are we left?
Yeah, they're definitely falling apart on that defense. Um, you know, Obviously from a Lions standpoint, they have a lot to deal with Terrion Arnold. Well, after releasing him, not much. But from the NFL side, do you see the NFL, dropping any punishment, or do they kind of sit back, wait to see what happens legally, and then go from there? Because I have been hearing that they might even put him on the exempt list.
That's a possibility, and it's a true possibility. But I think it really comes down to, because he's not signed to a team currently, they might just wait and hang out and see what happens the legal route.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not accusing him. I'm not going to put that out there. I'm not going to throw shade at his name or anything like that. But what I'm saying, you're innocent until proven guilty, and right now, he could just be being framed in this whole thing. Honestly, in my opinion, like I said earlier, that where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I mean? There's something going on. There's a little bit of truth in everything. You know what I mean? I don't know how involved he was, but I'm sure he had a part of this, whether or not it was a very small part or a large part, who knows? You know what I mean? But you can't really just go off and, suspend people or fine people when you don't know the absolute truth yet. Like, so far, I'm not seeing anything about any video evidence or anything like that. Like, usually when, we hear these crazy stories, it's usually a domestic issue. And a lot of the times there might be hotel, video, or hotel surveillance video or something of certain player choking out his girlfriend or hitting somebody, you know what I mean? And so far now we're not seeing any of that. And those typically are the ones that warrant maybe a suspension from the NFL or something like that. But we don't really know what his involvement in this case is yet or not. And that's what we're going to find out eventually down the line as he goes through these court processes and stuff like that, what kind of evidence they bring against him, because we haven't really heard any of the evidence other than, what these people are saying that are, dropping the dime on him. But like I said earlier in this thing, the reason he got out on bond was because these people's stories have changed multiple times throughout this process. And sometimes when people get offered pleas to try to turn on somebody, they might change their story a little bit. So we're going to find out eventually, but I don't think the NFL really steps in. Just to answer simply, that was a long rant for a simple question, Cody. I apologize.
That's all right.
But I really don't think they're going to get involved until, more comes out, just because currently he is not signed to a team. But if he was signed to a team, I think the Kansas City Chiefs might pick him up, because
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to say Kansas City will probably have a roster spot open.
Andy Reid loves giving people second chances. So, and I'm not knocking it. No, I'm not knocking it. I'm a Lions fan, number one. But if you watch our show, the Sports Road podcast, you'll know that I am also a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And but I don't know if Terrion Arnold's even the player that I want to end up there, because I never really even fucking liked him in Detroit, to be honest, because he got way more pass interference fucking calls than he did, block passes.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that one.
He was not the player that we all thought he was going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
So far, he spent most of the time injured, so it's hard to say what he would turn out to be, but so far, he wasn't living up to the hype.
Yes, and that is very unfortunate. I guess let's transition from one player potentially or being arrested to now a former Detroit Pistons player in Malik Beasley. This one I'm kind of confused about because, I know it's a whole gambling thing and everything.
Wasn't this a point shaving thing, though?
Yeah, but I feel like it got put under the rug for the longest time. I thought he was, again, innocent until proven guilty, but seems like everything was kind of figured out, and then this comes out. So I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on it because, and I think we've talked about it, like they're promoting sports gambling everywhere. And I get it. Don't gamble on your own sport or yourself, whatever. But at that point, just bet on somebody else, bet on a different sport. But yeah, this thing's all weird too. How much have you heard or listened to about it?
Honestly, I haven't really. I started reading up on it a little bit earlier when I saw something about him getting, implicated in this whole, point shaving scheme and stuff like that. But I haven't got too deep into it yet. But I know this has been a big theme in the NBA. when it's come to players getting cracked down on either sports betting or point shaving or illegal gambling rings, which is really fucking weird. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. I just dropped one. This isn't the Sports Roll podcast. I apologize, Cody.
You're fine. You're fine.
But yeah, it's really weird that this is all seems to be when it comes to that aspect of either gambling or point shaving and stuff like that. When it comes to sports betting, is all coming down on the NBA right now, and I don't think it's going to stop there. To be honest, it's right now that seems to be where the FBI and stuff like that is focusing all their attention on, is because they knocked off that illegal gambling ring, which implicated a lot of players and even got a coach fired. It's coming down to that, but I haven't looked too deep into the Beasley thing yet. Have you read anything into it yet?
No, because I hear different stories, point shaving. He didn't bet on, his own team and all this other stuff. So I need to, look more into it and everything like that. But I don't know. It kind of goes with what I was saying. Like, first off, these guys have all this money. Why are we sports betting anyway? But also from the other side of things, like, I bet on sports myself, so I can see why these players and stuff would want to do it. It's fun to do. So, but yeah, there is obviously that gray area for sports athletes.
Oh, it is 100%. And if you really look at it, like I personally don't bet, I don't gamble. That's one
That's
thing.
good. That's good.
Like I've always like I think I told you this in chat. Like we were talking the other night, and you were talking about you don't like to spend money, and I was like, I'm a cheap bastard too, Cody. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to spend money. And the last thing I want to spend money on is throwing away gambling. So like, and I always kick myself in the ass, to be honest, because like sometimes I'll have a good feeling about something, especially when it comes to golf. Like I'll have a good feeling about a player and I'll go, man, if I would have just bet them this weekend, like Wyndham Clark winning the US Open, I had a good feeling about that. And I think the odds were like, he was a plus 4,500 or something like that. So if I'd have dropped $100 on that, like I'd have made some killer money. Or he was like plus 5,000 or something. It was crazy. But I had a good feeling about that. And I could have dropped money on it, but I'm like, at the same time, I could have also lost $100. So I'm not willing to do that. I saved that for Eric on our show. You know what I mean? Like he's the sports gambler, and he had one good year and he's lost all that money plus some. Like the last time I knew, he was living in the back of his truck. He's lost everything, and I feel bad for him. I offered for him to move into the studio, but he wasn't willing to take that charity. So, but I'll be there for him if he needs anything. But I'm not the big gambler myself, but at the same time, like you said, it's fun. And I think that's how these players get locked in. And at the same time, when you have that much money, Cody, sometimes you're looking for thrills.
Oh yeah.
Or sometimes you always get in the mentality, and I know you're probably in that mentality. I'm in that mentality too, where it's like, I don't like to spend my money, but I like to make it. You know what I mean? The more I can bank, the more I can, feel good about it,
Yes.
So like, I like to save money, bank it, when I can. Unfortunately, lately I haven't been able to do a lot of that because we've been spending a ton of money on a bunch of random stuff. But it's I do like to bank it. But I think sometimes these players, they have so much money, they're looking for that thrill, and sometimes that gets a little sketchy when they start betting on their own sport, and then that moves into the possibility of, I'm playing tonight and I can maybe not do so well, so I can bet against us. It goes down those theories, and this is the tale old as time. You know what I mean? You go back, I mean, MLB's Shoeless Joe Jackson. I mean, look up that whole story. You know what I mean? This is a tale as old as time, before even sports gambling was legal, when it was, mafia bookies. People have been doing this for a long time. Unfortunately, right now, it seems that the feds are starting to crack down on this whole thing. And right now, it seems to be the focus in the NBA. But like I said, I don't think it's going to stop there.
No.
Right now, the focus is here. The next, it might move to another major sport. So this is going to be something that we're going to be hearing a lot about over the next few years. And there's going to be a lot of players that are going to probably blow your minds that are doing dumb things. I mean, we'll go all the way back to Pete Rose. Love Pete Rose. Should be in the Hall of Fame. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Because he bet, on baseball. He never bet against his own team. Never been proven that he ever did that. But he did it at a time where sports gambling wasn't legal. And still to this day, you're not allowed to bet in the same sport that you're. I mean, we've dealt with this with JMO and the
Yep.
Detroit
I was
Lions.
gonna
You know
say,
what I
I'm
mean?
glad you brought that one up.
I mean, he wasn't even betting on football. That's the unfortunate thing, but he was doing it on Detroit Lions property. He was betting on golf when he got suspended for that. It's the dumbest shit ever. Like, I don't agree with that one ever.
Or
That
like just walk across the street, throw a bet, and come back.
yeah, like that one was dumb. If you're not betting on football and you're betting on golf, like just like that's taking the stuff too far. But I understand why they take it too far. Is because of things like Malik Beasley. You know what I mean? They have to protect their own ass, just like the players need to protect themselves. And we're seeing a lot of this. I don't know how deep you've gotten into this whole sports betting thing. There's been a lot of shade thrown at the UFC over stuff like this. Look into that story because there's been a lot of people maybe throwing fights and everything else. It hasn't really come out in full force, but yeah, there's a lot of looking into the UFC over stuff like that right now. So sports betting is a little crazy. Do professional athletes need to do it? No, I'd probably just stay away from the trouble. You know what I mean? It's not worth your time. You could get suspended. You can do all this other stuff, but like you said, it's fun. So I understand why they do it. I don't see the thrill in, handing my money over because the odds aren't there, man. Especially when you're playing all these parlays. Yeah, it sounds great. I could throw $5 in every week, $5 every week to try to like hit these, these 5 things in this parlay, and you do it every week. That's $100 a year.
Yeah.
I can do a lot with an extra $100 a year. Well, not a lot these days. That's not even going to take a gas from me. Shit. But, that's just not money I like to throw away personally.
Yeah, no, for sure. I see both sides of the coin on that one. So we'll have to see what happens with him too. So I guess the overall consensus is just don't gamble and you don't have to worry about getting in trouble.
Or do it smart and just gamble on cool stuff. Like, the 4th of July is coming up. We got the Nathan's, hot dog eating contest coming up. Bet on that.
Yes. A little bit of NBA news. Trades are happening this offseason. One of our own, Isaiah Stewart, has been traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. I still don't understand why. It does help, though, because Paul Reed will get some extra minutes. So I want to get your take on that one. And then also, Kevin Huerter has gotten his contract extension, which all he did was ride the bench. So I don't know.
That confused me. That confused me because I think he got $27 million over 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
That one absolutely confused me because he didn't show much. Although, granted, on his part, they didn't really play him a lot. You can only do what they're allowing you to do. So maybe we'll see something come out. But back to Stewart real quick. I think we had a conversation through text when this happened. And I said right away, I'm like, they're planning on re-signing Duran. Well, stuff's gotten a little bit more, shaky since then because apparently Duran's not willing to take a smaller contract. So now you're either looking at paying him a max contract, which I don't think he's worth. I think you've said plenty of times that we don't think Duran is worth a max. What the hell? Hold on a second. Talking too fast, Cody. We don't think Duran is worth a max contract. And I think the consensus out there is he's not worth a max contract because he did not perform in the playoffs. But that's what he's looking for. So we're either looking at paying him a max contract or a sign and trade scenario. But I think the move originally was made to free up some money to sign him to that, not to a max, but to a contract. And stuff seems to be getting a little, out of hand. He's apparently not willing. He thinks he's worth more than that. Well, if you think that, Duran, you should have performed a little bit better in the damn playoffs. And you might be worth that because I don't think there's a team out there that's willing to pay you a max contract. So I think a sign and trade would be the smartest move at this point. I think I brought this up probably about a month, 2 months ago on the podcast. A sign and trade might be the way to go, anyways, because I wasn't really impressed with his gameplay. I would have rather kept Stewart, and I said that then, but they've already traded Stewart away, so kind of sucks. But they did pick up what's that Isaiah
Yeah, Isaiah Joe, so that'll help
Isaiah
with
Joe.
3-point shooting.
Yes, we
Um,
needed that big time, big time.
yes. My worry though is because I did see that he's thinking about potentially getting traded to Sacramento. And just actually before we came on here, I heard LA might be in the talks, the Lakers. So, if we lose both of our centers, really, now you're thinking Paul Reed's the starter. So that doesn't help.
No, no, not at all. And that, it's I this is where it comes down to where, you need a GM that can start making some stuff happen because there's a lot of talent out there available still currently right now. So you could still pull some stuff together and maybe you could talk some sense into Duran to be like, hey, you're not worth this much money. You know what I mean? Like, even if we sign you, are the trade opportunities going to be there? I'm not sure because you might not get back out of them what you want out of them. And sometimes, you've already taken one trade, which I don't think was worth what you got back out of them with the Stewart trade, because I think that was what, 2 or 3 future second round picks.
Yeah.
That's
So
garbage in the
nothing
NBA.
back for him.
Yeah, that's garbage in the NBA. Like we all know that like second round is nothing in the NBA. It's not like the NFL where you can get like a diamond in the rough in the 5th round. You know what I mean? If you're
And
not getting
actually, I
somebody,
think we might have used those to get Isaiah Joe. So we might not even have him.
yeah, I thought, to be honest with you, and I could be wrong here. I thought we got 3 futures and we gave 2 futures to get Isaiah Joe.
Okay. You might be right.
So we might have one more future second round pick, but at the end of the day, and I was watching some stuff on Isaiah Joe. I'm impressed with the kid. The guy can shoot threes all day long. Like he's a hell of a shooter, and that's the one thing that we were saying that we needed throughout the season was a shooter. This kid can shoot. So this might have been, a good move, but you're losing the possibility of Duran, and you just lost Stewart, which Stewart was a dog. You know what I mean? That he was the muscle down there in that zone. And I didn't want to see him go. So now you need to replace that piece and a possible Duran. You need a little bit of size on this team, so you got to go and get somebody with some size. Otherwise, you're not going to match up with some of these bigger teams in the East. And you're kind of in a hard spot right now because of that. So you need to either talk Duran into staying and sign him to whatever contract that you feel the need or he is okay with. And he needs to wake up and realize he's not worth that max contract. Or you need to sign him for cheap, trade away, and hopefully get another player of some size and some, capabilities. You don't need a shooter at that point. We just grabbed a shooter. You need somebody who can play some defense. And, that's what they need right now.
Yeah. So with bringing in Isaiah Joe, where do you think Duncan Robinson falls? Like, do you think he's on the move now for trades? Like, now I feel like we have too many small players, too many 3-point shooters. And like you said, there's no defense.
Yeah, no, I don't think Duncan Robinson goes anywhere, and I wouldn't get rid of him. I like Duncan Robinson. You know what I mean? You need somebody that could give Isaiah Joe. I mean, they could split reps. You know what I mean? It's at that point. You know what I mean? Depth is never a bad thing, but defense is definitely a key piece right now, and you got to start looking at some of these other players. And then that kid that they picked up in the draft, that kid can shoot too. So
that's what I've been hearing. I need to do a
Yeah.
little bit more research on him. But I heard he's like a top player, as far as points and everything. So
yes,
hopefully he can get right into that rotation. I know he's a smaller guy. He needs to build a little bit more muscle, but I think he can fit in pretty good.
But honestly, in today's NBA, Cody, does muscle really matter?
No, that's true.
It's so soft these days. Like you don't need the. I'm talking about size here, and we need that big guy and stuff like that. And like honestly, NBA is so soft now. Like you don't really need that much size. I mean, look at Wemby. He's 7'6" or 8'9" or whatever he is. I mean, the guy's an alien, but he's only 132 pounds. Like, you don't need a lot of muscle to be able to make this stuff work because you can't touch anybody anyways. If you just, accidentally pinky touch somebody, they're calling a foul on you. So it doesn't matter anymore in that aspect. This isn't 90s where Bill Laimbeer is breaking people's noses and throwing elbows. You know what I mean? It's a different game. It's a different era. So like the toughness doesn't necessarily need to be there, but you do need somebody that can block some shots. So that I think is a big focus because this kid that they just picked up, he's a shooter, man. Like this kid can shoot. I was watching him working some drills and he can lay some stuff down, and I'm pretty impressed. I want to see what he can do on an NBA level though, and I guess we'll have to wait to find out till the season kicks off. But I'm excited to see that. But I think defense right now is the focus of where they need to be. So either find a way to sign Duran or find somebody else right now.
Yeah, no, for
right
sure.
now is the time.
And I believe the guy we got in the second round, he's a big man. I believe he's a pretty good defender. So hopefully he can also jump right in there and work with the team. But do you see the Pistons being as successful as they were last year, next year, or do you think we digress just a little bit?
No, I mean, on our podcast, I always say I'm the guy with all the positivity. I am the beacon for hope on our show. So I'm gonna say the Pistons are gonna be better.
Okay.
I believe in Bickerstaff. I think he's moving in the right direction. I mean, he's been there only a couple of years. He's turned this team completely around, and he went deeper this year than he did the year previous. So, if he makes it back to where he made it this year, or even a little bit farther, maybe to the Eastern Conference Finals next year, I'm still believing in him. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I really think the team's going in the right direction. And if, they got together and said, we can let Stewart go, and because we have, a plan to pick up this kid in the first round. And, I think the plan was also to re-sign Duran, but he's being a little bit of I'm sorry to say, so he's being a dick right now when it comes to, signing, because he wants that max contract. And I don't blame him. Anybody out there who wants to give me heat because he wants this money, I don't blame him. You got to make your money while you can. You know what I mean? I understand it totally. I just don't think he's worth it, to be honest. If he had a better playoff performance, he would have 100% been worth it. His regular season performance, awesome. And
Yes.
I give him credit because he is only 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
So he's going to grow into a better basketball player over time, but you're not right. You're not there yet, dude. Like chill out. You're on a team who just went deep into the playoffs and has a chance to make a run at it next year. The league's getting blown up right now. I don't know if you've noticed with all the trades going on,
Yes.
people getting moved around left and right. The league's getting blown up. So things are going to be really interesting next year. And you have a chance to be on a team that can make a solid run on it next year. And you just have to take a little less money. Take 30 million a year, not the 40 million a year that you're asking for, or whatever I'm hearing. Just take 30. You know what I mean? Or don't worry about getting moved, because no matter where you get moved right now, you're probably going to get moved to a team that you're going to freaking hate anyways. So just stick with a team with a coach that is moving you guys in the right direction. Stick there. That's all I'm saying. And if you stick there, I'm positive that this team can at least make it the Eastern Conference Finals next year, if not to the finals.
Yes. And that's what we're hoping for. You're talking about the league. Everybody's blowing up and moving around. Charlotte was a team that we talked about. I know you talked about quite a bit on the podcast, of a team that we were worried about playing in the playoffs. Now they trade their core, LaMelo and Miles Bridges. Like, that to me doesn't make sense. That team was moving up in the right direction. I believe made the play-in game. Like I said, we were worried about playing them.
Yeah.
And now you just full rebuild mode.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you run into that because you don't feel like you can go any farther with the talent that you have on the team, or the money that's going to cost you to keep the talent that's on the team. So sometimes the best move is to move on from players, and that is a move that's unfortunate for them. Unless they think that that team wasn't going to get them there and they can make moves to get them there even faster. Who knows? I'm not sitting there, I'm not their GM. I can't understand why they make these moves, because they were moving in the right direction. And yeah, it's one of those teams that gave the Pistons trouble this year. There was
Yes.
a lot of animosity between those teams. I don't even know where it came from, but I loved it. You know what I mean? It kind of reminded me of, those days where the Pistons were tough, usually when they do really, really well. I just go back to the Malice at the Palace. You know what I mean? Like, you don't mess with the Pistons. The bad boys of basketball. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean? So, but the Charlotte Hornets were right there, up there in their faces, and that's the type of basketball that I like to see. I like to see those rivalry games, and I don't even know why that was one of them, but that's what it turned into because these teams couldn't stand each other, and I was there for every minute of it. But as for a rebuild for them, I don't know where it's coming from. It's got to be a money thing. It always comes down to money. Otherwise, there'd be no explanation for it other than that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And maybe they don't want to get into an issue like what we're dealing with Jalen Duren. They're like, look, it's not working right now. Let's just try again, start young and go from there. But some other moves that have been happening is Draymond Green declining his option with the Warriors. Of course, he declines it, and the first thing everybody talks about is LeBron going to Golden State, Anthony Davis to Golden State. Like, what are we talking about? Yeah,
You
would it
know,
be cool? But no, we don't want that.
no, I've always said if LeBron goes anywhere next, he's gonna play with I'm having a total brain fart right now.
What
Uh
team?
Steph Curry. He's gonna play with Steph Curry next. He's
You
gonna
did say that. I do remember you
Yeah,
saying that.
I said that. Like that would be the next super team. And I'm still sitting on that. But I've also heard, and I don't know how much hype is behind this or if it's just internet BS, but LeBron's name has been linked to the Pistons.
Yeah, nope. I already told people if the one championship that I see with the Detroit Pistons is with LeBron James on that team, it doesn't count for me. It
I'm
doesn't.
not, yeah, I'm not a fan of this one either. I don't want to see LeBron come to Detroit.
No.
And don't get me wrong, hats off to LeBron. I mean, Jordan's still the GOAT. Sorry, dude. But hats off to you. You're one of the best of all time. You're great, but you're 63 years old and way past your prime. And I do not want to see you come to the
No.
Pistons for some crazy amount of money just
Yes.
for a name. But, you know, if we're living in true Detroit fashion, I could see this actually happening. Detroit tends to grab players way past their prime, and it sells a lot of damn tickets. I mean,
Yeah, and bringing LeBron in will sell tickets. So from a business standpoint, I see it, but I just don't hope. I hope it doesn't happen. And even like with this, like it's, and again, it's all internet talk. They're saying LeBron won't go to Golden State unless Anthony Davis comes.
yeah.
Dude,
Well, he wants the next damn super team.
yeah.
We've talked about this a million times, Cody. It's
The
super team
problem is
LeBron.
Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. So, but
It's
you'll have
yeah,
LeBron and Curry, but
yeah. It's a give or take, man. It's
yeah,
I don't know. Like it's that would be another damn super team. You got LeBron, you got Steph, you get Anthony Davis. Like that team on paper would be unstoppable. And I don't want to knock LeBron that much because last year in the playoffs he did carry them. And for a moment there, I think I might have been on the show and we did a whole segment on LeBron is playing like prime LeBron again, and he could carry this team all the way to a championship, even though he did not. You know, what I mean, he slipped off again because yes, he is 63 years old, and you can only carry that for so long.
yeah,
But he still had some points of he's still worth getting paid a little bit of money here, but the money this guy's gonna want, it's time to retire, LeBron.
yes,
It really is. Yeah, I mean, I know he's not really 63, but he is in his 40s and he's probably a year younger than me, 2 years younger than me. And I know my ass can't play professional sports anymore. Not that I ever did. I wrestled for quite a few years, but like your body starts breaking down at 40. Like Cody, I know you're a very young, strapping 24 years old, and still in
not
the
even close.
prime of your life. You might be able to pull this off, but us old guys, like it's when it's time to hang it up, it's time to hang it up.
Yeah, no, I wish I was 24 again, but um, the thing would think is really cool if LeBron did his little press conference thing like he did when he was going to Miami. Like, make this your last year, make it a big thing. Like, these are the 3 teams I want to go to. Do a whole press conference thing, play that season, call it quits, ride into the sunset.
Yeah, the only way that I would accept him going to another team to ride off in the subset. What the? I can't talk, man. Like, I get into these aspects where I can't talk, and I'm not really quite sure why. But the only aspect of him going to another team that I would get behind is if he went back to Cleveland to finish out his career in Cleveland. Like, I would get behind that 100%. Play one more year in Cleveland. That's another hot team right now. You know what I mean? Like, they went to the playoffs. If you're gonna go somewhere right now, go finish your career in Cleveland, LeBron. Like, finish that last year there. Go off under the sunset there. I know they would be your 3rd trip there, but finish your career where it started. That's one move that I could get behind and respect, because I know the Cleveland fans would 100% get behind it. And 2, I honestly, like, I hate seeing these guys move all over the place all the time. And that's, I'm sure we'll get into baseball here in a minute, but that's why I was so excited to see Verlander come back to Detroit to finish out his career where he started it. So I can 100% get behind if he went back to Cleveland. That's the one team. If he doesn't retire, go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
For one more year.
That's a good point. But you did bring up the Tigers. So let's talk about them, because I did see you put out a video about Skubal. So we'll talk about him. You talked about Verlander. This team is so inconsistent. Like, even the game last night, like, tied 3-3 in the 10th inning, and then let's just give up all the runs and lose. Like, what's going on?
Dude, they are falling apart. That's all I can say. It's so crazy to watch too, because the last 2 years they've made the playoffs, and all of a sudden now it's just I think the last time I looked at the standings, the only team below them in the American League is Kansas City right now, and luckily they're in the same division, because that's the only team that is like below them in their division as well. But they're just tanking right now, and I'm not really understanding it, because the team hasn't really changed that much. So what has happened? If anything, I thought the pitching got a little bit stronger with Valdez signing in the offseason. I thought they had the best 2 left-handed pitchers in baseball, and it's just not translating on the field. And we got McGonigal, who's lighting it up this season, but it's just this team is not coming together. And I understand the whole, the Verlander thing. I brought up Verlander a minute ago, and I'm sure we'll get into a discussion about him in a minute. And you brought him up again there a second ago, because I did put out a video on him. But that's a selling tickets feature right now, because every time he gets close to returning, they sell a shit ton of tickets, and then all of a sudden he's injured again. It's like,
yeah, I think that's just so sad, like, on a business standpoint and from Verlander's side. Like, dude, if you really don't think you're going to come back, don't even hint at it to the front office, nothing, because that's what they're going to do, is they're going to sell tickets. People are going to get ready to go down there. Oh, late scratch, his toenail fell off. I hate to say this stuff about Verlander, but dude, it's time to be done, because this is not even a good farewell tour.
No, not at all. What did he pitch? 4 innings so far this year? That's it?
Yeah.
4 innings, and he hasn't pitched since. So who knows what's going to happen? But right now the curtain is coming quick to closing. Now, luckily, Cody, to be honest with you, the Central sucks. So
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, the Central is still very much in reach. We're not even at the halfway point of the season yet. We're getting close to it. Once that trade deadline happens, we're about halfway there, and that's coming up here real soon. So the Central is still very much in reach. So the Tigers are not out of it yet, even though we keep talking about this and we get excited about it because they'll go on a run, because they had a pretty good June. So far, June has been pretty decent, but this last week has been another fall off, which they need to play roughly about 600 ball to keep in this thing. And they're just not doing it. They're not keeping up with that aspect right now. I saw that. Yeah, Verlander, I think I'm hoping that he's not yet. I'm hoping he gives us a few games, and if they're smart, they'll play this guy out of the bullpen moving forward, which I thought that's what they do. So Ken, good comment there. I really do think that like this is definitely his last year, Ken.
Yeah.
And I think that was the whole point of him coming back here was to, hang his hat in Cooperstown because he's going to the Hall of Fame as a Detroit Tiger where he started out his career. And I'm 100% behind that. I think I put a video out about that too, about where he hangs his hat or what hat hangs in Cooperstown for, Justin Verlander. And it's going to be the Tigers. It's got to be, especially with him finishing out his career here. But we just hope that he can actually at least play, finishing out his career here in Detroit. But yeah, they need to do something to turn this thing around. Now Scooble. Scooble's a topic of a lot of contention right now because that trade deadline is coming up, Cody. They're second to last in the Central, second to last in their division. Trade deadline's looming right around the corner. You going to be buyers or sellers? Now, Cody, I want to put you in the GM mindset right now. You're looking at, where you're sitting right now, obviously, but you're also looking at a, Central Division in the American League that is horrendous. So they're really not that far behind. I think they're 9 games back right now or something like that. With you're looking at half the season left, that doesn't really seem to be out of the realm of a possibility to still win your division. Now, you got Tarek Skubal. He's probably got decent amount of trade value, even though he had the injury. He probably had even higher trade value in the offseason last year. But right now, you're looking at the best option. He has a decent amount of trade value. Or you try to win this thing out this year, go to the playoffs by trying to win this Central because it's still in reach. It really is. The Central itself, maybe not the whole American League. You're not going to be that 1 seed, but the Central is still very much in reach. Do you write it out and then either try to sign him in the offseason, which I don't think is realistic because the Dodgers or the Yankees or somebody on that aspects with the money is willing to pay him that much money, unless I'll bring up this option here in a second because there's a possible lockout coming with the implication of possible salary cap, which could change everything. And you're kind of hoping on that aspect because at that point you could probably sign Scooble for what you want because there'll be a salary cap in place. Cody, do you trade Scooble now, try to get as much as you can get out of him, or do you keep him and try to make a run at it this year, because the Central's so bad?
No, I think we should trade him. I think the run that we're going to make is only going to be getting into the wild card and then getting bounced right there. So there's not a realistic chance that we get to the World Series or anything like that, which I think is what Scooble wants. So I would trade him with the value that he has. I know there was a scare 2 weeks ago when he pulled his groin or did something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's too much of a risk by letting this play out till the end of the season. So I think we trade him now, get something in return. The problem is that not only the Tigers, but Detroit teams don't trade very well. So if we trade him, it needs to be assets, picks, the future, but also a win now mode type deal. But yeah, I think keeping him on the team any longer is going to ruin the locker room. And I mean, I think he's pissed off enough fans that they won't be too sad to see him go.
No, I mean, I'm right there with you 100%. I think right now is the time to trade him. But it also would be, in my mind, a complete Detroit move to keep him, try to win out the season, not even make the playoffs, and then have him walk in the offseason and not get anything for him.
Yeah.
That would be the absolute Detroit move, even though that would suck because you're not getting anything back for the best pitcher in baseball. And if you're going to do something, I mean, they need to wake up. But at the end of the day, I don't trust ownership, man.
No.
To be honest with you, the Illiches, I'm just not a fan of the Illiches. Now, Mr. I could get behind that guy 100%. That guy would spend every last penny he had to have winning teams, to bring winning teams to the city. And he did it. You know what I mean? Look at the run the Red Wings were on. I think it was 25 straight years
in a row.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
25 straight years of the playoffs. And we had a lot of really good Tigers teams in that timeline. Now, under his ownership, did they ever win a World Series? No, but we had some hot ass teams. Let me tell you, I mean, we would have never had Miguel Cabreras or Justin Verlanders or Max Scherzers or Doug Fisters. You know, I mean, I could go down the line with all the players that we have, or, you know, a great friend of the show, Jim, his favorite player, Brandon Inge. You know, we'd have never had any of those guys. I was just a crack at Jim. Like he hates Brandon Inge. Great third baseman though. I liked Brandon Inge. Like I don't know where he's coming from, but yeah, we had some great teams. Prince Fielder. I mean that guy spent so much money to bring, you know, a championship to this town, and he just didn't get over the hump under his ownership. I know the Tigers have won it before, the last time in '84. I only remember that because that's the year I was born. Yes, I'm an old ass man. I was born in 1984.
Talk about being 63 years old.
Yeah. Yes, exactly, Ken. Like that's exactly where we're at too. Like right now is the best time to trade them. And I know rumor is apparently they keep telling everybody they're not willing to trade them. But like I said in my one of my videos I put out recently, I don't know if that's just them bluffing to try to push it off to the last minute to get the most value that they can for them. I think you'll see a late last minute trade to somebody like the Dodgers, or who knows, one of the most exciting teams in baseball right now, the Athletics. I doubt he'll go there, true. But they are exciting. I just don't think they have the money to pay a Scooble.
No.
But then again,
you brought up – go ahead.
But then again, they might not need a lot of money because it'd be on their responsibility to re-sign him in the offseason. So he'd be a rental at this point for the last half of the season.
Yeah. And you brought up you know, Chris Ilitch and Mr. I just was listening on 97.1 and they were like, Mr. I was a fan of the sport while he was, you know, the owner. Chris is a businessman, which
correct.
Definitely, I mean, there's no doubt that that's exactly it.
Which I think, honestly, if you look up Mr. I believe he was a pro ball player.
Oh.
I think so. He either was a minor league player or he played pro ball. He was a baseball player. I remember hearing that. Like, he wasn't a hockey player, don't get me wrong, but you know, he was the owner of the Red Wings for a long time through the stretch. But I believe
so that probably helps too.
Yeah,
he knows the background of the sport.
Yeah. Actually, I wanna fact check myself there real quick.
And while you're doing that, like I know you talked to standings and everything. Can we briefly talk how the Chicago White Sox are in first in the division?
Oh, I know, dude. It's wild. Like from last to first.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous. It's absolutely wild.
It does look like the Tigers won today, so win streak incoming.
Maybe. And they really could. Like I said, I'm trying to fact check this real quick. Yeah. I don't know if he was a pro ball player, but I know he played ball in his day. I don't know if it was actual pro ball, but I know he was a ball player in his day. Oh no, he did sign with the Detroit Tigers for $3,000 and played 4 seasons, 1952 to 1955, in the minors, primarily as a second baseman in the Tigers, New York Yankees, and Washington Senators systems. So yeah, he was a pro ball player at one point. So that's why he was so standing behind, and the first team that signed him was the Tigers. So maybe that was his love affair with the Tigers.
Yeah.
And Cody, I forgot what you just asked me. I just brain farted while I was reading that. The White Sox.
Oh yeah.
From last to first. Another exciting team, man. Good for them. You know what I mean? Even though like Chicago, love the city, can't get behind the sport since Ben Johnson went there. That's all I gotta say about that. Like it's just sour spot in my.
It's tough. I mean, we should not be behind, especially the Chicago White Sox. So hopefully, like you said, that gives us that, you know, way to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's still 100% a realistic possibility that the Tigers still could make a run at this thing. All you need is the White Sox to fall a little bit, the Guardians to fall a little bit, and you start moving into that position. And I don't know if a wild card spot is going to be a possibility. but you could definitely win this division, to be honest, which would be even better than a wild card spot, to be
Yeah.
honest. So if you could just pull off a division win, like you're golden. So like there's still that possibility that the Tigers keep Scooble, make a run at this, and get knocked out in the first round. I get it, and get nothing back in return because that's a complete 100% Detroit move.
Yes.
But then again, let me ask you this, because you look at Scooble's stats. I talked about this last year when they were playing him throughout the playoffs. Scooble, his record in big games is not that well, or not that good, I should say. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a losing record in big games.
Because he only pitches 5 innings a game.
I know it's dumb. That's one of the reasons. Like, I could gripe about Scooble all day long, but like maybe moving on from him wouldn't be the worst move in the world. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
No,
he
I
only
don't
pitches
think so
5
at all.
innings a game. Like, maybe you could get somebody back in return that could pitch 8 innings.
Yeah.
So that'd be more helpful than 5 innings because he's worried about throwing out his arm and not getting that big payday. Which, once again, internet, I don't blame him. I understand he's got to make the money when he can make it. I'm sick of hearing all you guys talking about, you know, trying to blame, because I start talking crap when it goes. Like, I understand. I am 100%. I'd be in the same position if I was him, but at the same time, as a fan, we don't like to see that.
Yeah, and like I said, I think this would be one player that gets traded from Detroit that the fan base would be like, thank God he's gone.
Yeah. Oh, 100% because of the attitude that he's had.
Yes.
I think, honestly, part of him, I think Scooble wants to stay here, but at the same time, I think Scooble's more worried about, you know, making money than he is, you know, about trying to win. And he proved that last year in the playoffs. He proved that in the World Baseball Classic and the WBC when he quit after 5 innings or whatever. And then they didn't even go back and play another game when they needed him because he's worried about his arm. And I get it. I totally get it, internet. I get it. You know, he's got to get that payday. You got to make that money where you can get it. But, you know, as a fan of a team, you want to see somebody who's going to go out there and throw their arm out. You got, what is it for the Dodgers? Yamamoto? And
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That guy last year, I think in the World Series, pitched 3 or 4 games. It was between him and Shohei. They just kept going back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, those are the type of players I want to see on this team. Players that are willing to throw their damn arms out to win.
Well, and especially Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this guy's playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I brought up a million times on our show. You know, everybody's like, Scooble's worth the money. He's the best pitcher in baseball. Yeah. You know, he'd be worth the money on a 10-year contract if he could hit 50+ home runs a year also.
Yeah.
But he can't do that. Shohei can, though. You know that? Like, if he can't pitch, he can still hit you 50+ home runs a year. So that guy's worth the money.
Oh, yeah.
Scooble's not worth that much money, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Like, he is the best pitcher in baseball, but you can only play one side of the ball, and you're, you know, still throwing over 100 miles an hour once you reach 100 pitches. Like, you're going to throw your damn arm out again, buddy. Like, it's not worth a 10-year contract. 4-year contract, 100%. You want to give this guy $70 million a year on a 4-year contract? Do it. I don't care. But 10-year contract? No, just trade him. If that's what he really wants, trade him. Let the Dodgers pay him that money.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it'll make everybody's life a lot easier if he just gets traded. But no, we have, you know, for sports that it's really just baseball right now, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'm sure there's going to be more coming up with all these trades and off the field issues with different players. Like, all these other sports are like, hey, don't count us out right now. We still want a little bit of the spotlight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're starting to see that a lot with that. Like, I don't even think it's a real sport, but soccer is pretty big right now with the FIFA World Cups going on.
Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I watched Germany and Paraguay in like their penalty kick shootout.
Yeah.
That was intense. I can't watch like the 90 minutes of it, but I can sit and watch penalty kicks all day long.
No, so I'll say something about, you know, football real quick. No, I give it's not a sport that I watch, but I'll give 100% credit to these guys who play this sport. And I know it's the biggest sport in the world, and I don't want to throw shade on this sport. It's just not something that's big in America, so we really don't cover it a lot on our show. I know you really haven't covered it a lot on your show, but these guys are some of the most athletic mother effers. I almost dropped the F-bomb, but I saved it. On this planet, like for what these guys do for 90 minutes, these guys are warriors on that field. And it's just not a sport that I'm 100% behind, but your guys' athletic ability is outrageous. Yeah, I mean, all 100% hats off to you. Props to that sport. Maybe one day I'll get excited about it and start watching it, but it's not my sport, so I don't get watch it. But the athletic ability of these guys is just on a different level. So I will give that 100% props to them. And anybody who watches it, props to you. And I heard the U.S. actually has a pretty damn good team right now. So hopefully they can go on and do something. And maybe if the U.S. makes it some type of final or whatever's going on in the World Cup, maybe I'll watch a game. I'm not sure, but I just can't find myself. I could sit down and watch golf for 4 days straight, but I can't watch soccer. I don't get it. Don't give me that look.
Can't
Cody.
do it, Tim. I can't.
Golf is exciting. Golf is. If you would have watched it the other night when it's coming down to the 18th with Scotty Scheffler and Victor Hovland, when they're running out of daylight and they end up with the tie and they have to go to a playoff on Monday morning, and Scotty loses it. Damn it, Scotty lost it.
Is that the first time that's ever happened that it's had to play on a Monday?
No, they've done that before. It's all weather delays and stuff like that. It was just funny that they finished up the 4th round on Sunday and then had to play a 1-hole playoff on Monday morning. So people literally showed up for 15 minutes on Monday morning. The place was packed for 15 minutes. It was wild. But yeah, it was a heck of a tournament. I can sit there and watch that, but that's the one thing. I live in a golfing household. My
That's
kid
true.
plays high school golf. We go out golf 3 days a week. My wife plays golf. My oldest son talks to us about how we play golf because he doesn't play golf. But maybe one day we'll change his mind and get him out there on the course, and maybe he'll fall in love with it like the rest of us. But yeah, it's because it's a sport that we love so much we can sit down and watch it. It's not a sport that's for everybody. It's hard to watch. If you don't play it, you don't really understand it, you're probably not going to watch it. Maybe that's why I don't watch football, is because I don't play it. I don't understand it. I don't really watch it. But I do, on the aspect of athletic ability, give these guys 100% credit and give them their props, because they are probably some of the most athletic MFers on this planet. Because the way that they play this game for 90 minutes running back and forth, I can't name another sport that plays that long, that aggressive for that long, and still just keeps going and going and going. I mean, yeah, hats off to these guys.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I probably couldn't even run for 90 seconds, so let alone 90 minutes. But we're coming up to that hour. Tim, is there anything you want to add? Obviously, another great show talking sports. I know you have a show tomorrow, so if you want to plug your stuff, and it is a big show tomorrow, so.
It is. I'm excited about tomorrow. We got Coach coming back on the show, so you can catch that at the PFC Entertainment Network on YouTube and Facebook. We got Almost Andy Reid. Awesome guy. He just happened to be blessed to be born to look just like the greatest coach in the NFL, Andy Reid. And he tricked my guys on the show. Jason totally was sold that it was Andy Reid on the show. So Coach is coming back on the show. So this is going to be an awesome show. We're going to learn a little bit more about him. He's got a huge following on social media. He spends his life as the doppelganger of Andy Reid, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I get some backup as being the only Kansas City fan on the show, somebody who can finally help stick up for me a little bit, because these guys beat me up all the time about being a Kansas City fan. So remember that tomorrow night at the PFC Entertainment Network on YouTube and Facebook at 6 p.m. Eastern. We got Coach coming back on the show. And then just follow all of our socials also. You find us at the Sports Real Podcast everywhere pretty much. And then we are doing the Kirby Joseph autograph mini helmet giveaway on TikTok. The Kirby Joseph mini helmet giveaway on TikTok. As soon as we get to 1,500 followers on the Sports Real Podcast page on TikTok, we will be giving that thing away live on one of the Sports Real Podcast shows. So get over to TikTok. Can I do a rant real quick, Cody?
Of course.
Before we get off air, because I meant to do this, but in all seriousness right now, I want to get serious with all of you, and I want to get serious with Cody, because I don't know if you're having these same problems, but I know we're probably live on TikTok right now, and I'm going to talk a little shit. And I just swore, but it's it's part of the like it's there to get my point across, Cody. A little shit about TikTok right now. TikTok's becoming a little bit of a joke. One, they set these incredible goals of 1,000 followers, which is not really not that incredible. We've already hit that to be able to go live on TikTok. Now, Cody has been able to get a stream key for TikTok. They refuse to give us a stream key for TikTok so far, even though we're over the 1,000. So we've hit that mark. So we want to bring our show to our TikTok audience, which happens to be our biggest audience on social media right now. Not our most views. Currently, right now, Facebook brings us the most views, but our biggest following is on TikTok, but TikTok's playing games. But at the same time, TikTok's also playing games with their algorithm. They're holding us all back. I'm sure, Cody, you're feeling this right now too.
Yep.
They are at the point right now where they're just pushing their promote feature. And if you're not paying to play, they are not pushing you. So we, along with Cody or anybody else who is a small creator, needs your help to help push our stuff, because TikTok only wants us to use their promote to be able to grow. And I'm just not willing to do that. I'm not going to sell my soul to TikTok to get some people that don't even fit, or follow what we do, because all that happens is you get a bunch of views, you get some followers, they're going to drop off because they're not the demographic you're going after anyways. So I don't want to use that. And they need to stop playing these games, because I remember when I first started on TikTok before they sold, this was not an issue. We were gaining a steady amount of viewers for months and months and months and months. And then all of a sudden they sold, and now it just seems to be a pay to play platform. And the shit's getting really old, TikTok. Like really, just if the stuff's going out there, people are sharing it, people are liking it, just keep pushing it. Stop hitting me with this promote BS, because I'm not going to pay you money. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm not going to give you $29.99 to get 4,637 views. I don't even know where the hell you come up with that number. Like, that's not even a real thing. Like, then the views you're giving me are BS anyways. The last time, I've done it once, and I'll admit to that. I've done it once. It was like $8 or something like that. I got like 300 views out of Indonesia. Now, nothing against Indonesia. Great country, and I'm sure they have a great football team, but we don't really talk about a lot of soccer. We talk about a lot of other sports, and we're probably not their demographic. So why am I getting views out of that country when I need them out of the US, or teams that follow, even Great Britain, Canada, Mexico, a lot of these teams that follow a lot of these countries that follow the sports that we actually talk about. Why am I getting it from like Asian countries that don't even follow the sports that we talk about? It's just because it's BS is what it is. So I'm going to put it out there. Cody, you might get struck because I'm talking shit about TikTok and we're live on TikTok. I wish we were live on TikTok, but the damn bastards won't give us a damn stream key. And I don't know why. Like, we've hit their damn goals. Give us a damn stream key. Like, I want to go live.
It's weird. I'll try to look into it and see, because I know I've talked to Jason about it, about trying to figure out why it won't let you guys do that. But yeah, I mean, like Tim said, like, small creators like us, the only way we're going to get to the top is if we help each other. The support from the people that, were in this episode, and all the guests that I've had on, and the people watching, like, this is how channels like me and the Sports Reel and other small podcasts, that's how we're going to grow. So, I would rather grow the channel naturally rather than the pay to play. Only because, like, this is a hobby and everything I like to do, and I enjoy it. So I want to keep enjoying it and not make it something that I don't enjoy. So I'm glad Tim did bring that up. And again, thank you for all the supporters for on my channel and, Sports Reel. It just, I talked about it, the networking, the people I've met, like the support, like, 1,000 followers doesn't sound like a lot, but, I've heard videos and stuff. Like, when you put it in perspective, 1,000 people in a room looking at you, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's I know for sure I have to put it in that perspective. Tim, I know you've told me this a million times. Like, don't look at the views. And I'll get 200 or 300 views. But again, if you put me in a room with 300 people,
You'll
I'm
feel
not
pretty
talking
good.
like this. There's no
No.
way.
No, I mean, I would, because I'm used to performing in front of people for years. So being in front of people doesn't bother me at all. But in retrospect, you look at it like, Cody, I'll put a video, the same video, same description, same like hashtags, everything on TikTok. I'll get 300 views on TikTok. I'll get 12,000 on Facebook. What's the difference?
Yep.
What's the difference? And then the only thing I get on TikTok is a bunch of promote ads on that video, asking me like to pay them $29.99 to get 4,337 likes. It's like, fuck off, guys. Sorry, I had to drop an
Yeah.
F-bomb there. Like, it's warranted at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just, don't play this game with me. Like, it's social media is social media. Like, the algorithm, just open it up and let it be free so the things can flow. There shouldn't be any reason why I'm getting 12,000 views on the same video on Facebook when I have a quarter of the amount of followers, which that's another thing I think. Guys, if you're seeing our stuff all the time, whether it's my stuff or Cody's stuff, help us out. Hit that follow. That's the biggest thing that helps us out, because yeah, my views on Facebook are fantastic. Like, you guys are killing it with the views. But without the follows, that doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? So please help us out. It doesn't cost you anything just to hit that follow to keep supporting us. Whether it's me, Cody, or any other small creator out there, or any other small sports podcast or sports content creator. Like, a lot of us work together. We all like each other. Help us all out. You know what I mean? Just hit that follow and help us grow, because you guys are the power behind it. Like I said, it doesn't cost you guys anything to do it. You know what I mean? We're not asking for money from any of you to follow us, just asking just for a little click to help build these numbers. You know what I mean? Because even though the views are great, we still need to get the follows up there. But back to my point, 300, views on a video on TikTok when I've got a quarter of the amount of followers on Facebook, and I'm getting 12,000 views there. Like, it doesn't add up. You know what I mean? Like, so hit the follow, hit the like, share the stuff out there, whether it's the sports reel, catching up with Cody, just help us all out. Just follow us all, like, let's build these brands up, because I mean, I don't know about all of you, but I find the stuff to be pretty entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, I like the stuff that I watch. I like your stuff. I like my own stuff. So yeah, if you guys could support us, that'd be awesome. It's been another great episode of Catching Up with Cody Live. We are here every Monday night, 9 p.m. on YouTube, TikTok, hopefully Facebook. I got to look and see if it actually worked.
I don't think it did this week. I was looking. I was trying to share it to ours.
All right. I'll have to work on that. Everybody have a good and safe 4th of July. I know I'll be partying it up with Tim. So
hell yeah.
It's going to be a good one. So next week we have Kevin from the Lions Grid. So be sure to check that out. And thank you guys